Imagine fighting off hundreds of Russian assaults a week, while simultaneously launching precision raids so devastating they reduce the enemy's ability to fight. In Donetsk, Ukraine's armed forces are doing exactly that, repelling an offensive aimed at the city of Pokrovsk and striking back with attacks on Russian ammunition depots. The result? Ukraine has reclaimed 5 times more territory than it lost in August alone. What follows is how those gains came about, what is known, what remains unconfirmed, and what it might mean for the front line moving forward. In August 2025, Ukraine saw a modest but strategically important shift in its fight around Pokrovsk in the Donetsk region. Ukrainian forces lost roughly 5 square kilometers in the Pokrovsk sector, but they were able to regain about 26 square kilometers, which means they gained 5 times as much territory overall, according to Commander-in-Chief Oleksandr Syrsky. Similarly, Russian forces lost roughly 25.5 square kilometers to Ukrainian control after capturing about 13.5 square kilometers in the Dobropilya direction. These victories came amid tremendous Russian pressure. According to Syrsky, the Russians attacked some 350 Ukrainian positions in the Pokrovsk region over the course of a week in August. While that metric makes clear how heavily contested the area remains, the Ukraine leadership insists the defensive line held and struck back. Precision strikes against ammo storage facilities and other logistical centers located deep into occupied territory have been one of Ukraine's counterstrike tactics. Reports from numerous credible sources show that Ukraine has frequently targeted and destroyed Russian supply dumps using drones, missiles, and electronic warfare, even if complete attribution is frequently still unknown. In Selidov, in the seized Donetsk Oblast, for instance, Ukrainian forces admitted that a thermobaric ammunition storage had been destroyed. According to Ukraine's State Security Service, drones attacked a sizable ammunition storage in Kharkiv earlier this summer on July 3rd, causing powerful secondary detonations and flames. These operations are part of a larger strategy to disrupt Russia's supply lines and reduce their ability to sustain large-scale, frequent assaults. What is not clear, and remains unverified, is the exact scale and frequency of some of the more dramatic claims, especially regarding ammunition shortages near Pokrovsk or large-scale depots in Saladov being incinerated with accompanying shockwave footage of Russian soldiers falling. Some reports circulating on social media, or secondarily in commentary, echo those details, but Reuters, AP, and other major agencies have not, as of this time, confirmed that such precise dramatic events in Saladov have taken place. Thus, while Ukraine's ability to strike rear echelons and depots is well documented, the magnitude of individual strikes needs careful verification. Major deep strike operations on depots in Russian territory, including those at Toropets and Tikhoretsk, have been verified to have destroyed substantial ammunition stores. According to British intelligence, these attacks have caused short-term disruption to Russian ammunition and artillery supplies. What does all of this mean in terms of the battlefield, and how might it impact future events? First, the reported gains made by Ukraine in August around Pokrovsk and Dobropilya indicate that the Russians have not been able to make the breakthroughs they may have hoped for or planned. Ukrainian forces have withstood attacks and reclaimed more ground than they lost, despite Russia concentrating substantial offensive formations in key sectors. That defensive resilience buys Kyiv time to fortify positions, resupply, rotate troops, and prepare counterstrikes. Second, targeting ammunition depots, logistics hubs, and rear area storage is more than symbolic. It strikes at what armies need above all else: supplies. If verified, destruction of large depots or regular strikes that force Russia to disperse ammo storage would slow down assault rates, reduce the intensity of shelling, limit Russia's ability to conduct massed attacks, and strain logistics, roads, warehouses, and transport. This places additional burdens on Russian command decisions, riskier convoys, and more dispersed supplies, which are harder to protect. The employment of long-range precision weaponry, drones, and missiles by Ukraine, or what is known about them, is increasing the vulnerability of supply chains. Even behind frontline sectors are unsafe, as demonstrated by deep strike operations against Tikhoretsk, Toropets, and Kharkiv. Third, there is a morale, command, and psychological element. Even minor territorial losses are discouraging, but when they are quickly reversed and followed by the obvious destruction of enemy logistics, attitudes are changed. Maintaining offensives without dependable supplies or safe depots puts the Russian side at risk for increased casualties, fatigue, and lost momentum. For Ukraine, each success bolsters defensive confidence, earns time, and possibly creates windows to strike further or reclaim towns, especially if Russian units begin rationing ammunition or avoiding high-intensity attacks. Finally, Russia may be forced to reconsider its strategy and deployments in Donetsk if Ukraine continues to repel Russian attacks near Pokrovsk while also applying pressure to rear supply zones. Persistent drone and missile threats make it more difficult to hold supply lines, They also make it riskier to gather forces, and commanders may need to reallocate air defense or electronic warfare capabilities back to protect logistics instead of frontline attacks. Additionally, Ukraine may be able to make small advances in buffer zones, defensive depth, and the capacity to project into occupied territories as a result of its stated net territorial gains, even if they are tiny. Ukraine appears to have halted or at least sharply blunted Russia's major Pokrovsk offensive over the summer of 2025, particularly in August, reclaiming significantly more land than it lost. Parallel to that, it is pressing attacks on Russian ammunition depots and logistical infrastructure, inflicting damage that, while not always fully independently verified, is consistent across multiple reports.